Hi, everyone, and we are live with Grace, who hasn't been here in a while, and Jouelzy. Grace, unfortunately, got into an accident. So she has kindly decided to join us. As you can see, my dear friend has a
We
brace on
didn't
her
think
arm.
we didn't think we were gonna make it, to be honest.
Never would have.
So
Yeah, but I can sit up for as long as this will take. So let's go.
let's go. All right. Today we have Grace, who is here with us, and Jouelzy, and we are going to be talking about the girlie's new grift, which is going from a lifestyle girl to hypergamy to the church, back to Christianity. And some of them simultaneously are blending all three at once, but it seems most of them like to go in an order. When one fails, they're on to the next. So we
But
are
is it
going to be
new?
discussing that.
It's like Pokemon, like it starts off, it's different evolutions.
Yes.
Yes.
I felt like Pokemon was so 2017 though. We still playing that?
Oh, that's the closest we ever got to world peace. But this is what I'm saying. Like, this as a stance, hypergamy, is very similar in the ways that misogyny happens, and in the ways that men wield misogyny. Under patriarchy, people stop being people. They become people that you might just partner with for utility purposes. Are you really looking to see if you like this person, if they would be a good partner, a good match? Notice I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about the things you might need in order to like make life work with somebody. But at that point, when you're just like, I see you as a bag and a means to secure one, then at that point is, is there attraction there, or is the attraction to what this could do for you in life?
Well, then is there an emotional connection? Is there a care connection, or is it a transaction? And I think that is what the hypergamy movement really encourages.
Real Housewives, I think, planted the seed of popularizing hypergamy in popular culture for young women. So you had everyone from Real Housewives of New Jersey with Teresa and the very infamous table flip. You had Nene Leakes being like, Greg, and telling everyone happily that she came from being an exotic dancer, and then Greg met her in the club, and Greg made her, in her own words, an honest woman, a kept woman. Then you have the Jen Shaws, which Jen Shaw did work. But Erica Jane is a good example, where she was from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where she stated numerous times that her scamming lawyer husband, who notoriously stole tens of millions of dollars from his clients, that he found her when she was a young waitress and then gave her this lavish lifestyle. And I think that was the beginning of us peeking in and being like, oh, well, that looks cute. That's nice. And then the lifestyle girls have come with the help of a little sprinkle and given it to the masses on TikTok.
Hypergamy, and the word is new, like in the past 5-6 years. This concept of marrying up is old as time. And that's essentially why I think part of why we get this pipeline, particularly in the age of TikTok, of the girls going hypergamy, or rather sprinkle to Christian, because hypergamy, as it was reintroduced by the YouTube Black girls in the 2010s, it's just a repackaging of Victorian values, which is, i.e., respectability politics, i.e., the Black Baptist Church. Like, it's a tale as old as time, this idea of presenting and packaging yourself as a woman so that a man can find you valuable, and then that somehow being the way that your life transforms and your socioeconomic status changes, even though tale as old as time, the dating pool has never proved that to be true.
To win at hypergamy publicly, at least, you have to be a Nene and Greg. You have to hold up the husband. And so because it's a dangerous game, like you shouldn't be playing in the first place, but because also the dating pool is so small, the girls that quote unquote failed at hypergamy because they publicly were preaching this and they didn't have the husband to show, now they're going the Christian way of like, well, that I shouldn't have done that. I was living in sin and I'm going to live right. And their end goal is still like this mythical husband that they may or may not want, that may or may not treat them bad, but that's not the point to them at this point. The point is still the end goal of touting up this person.
And this is just so fun for me because, like, I don't be in straight women's business, but this is nice. This is funny.
Do you feel like it is not replicated in the queer landscape? I feel like
everybody broke.
Yeah, well, everybody broke, but like heteronormativity is like the base of society, right? It's almost compulsory that we all function in this sort of heteronormative way, regardless of how radical or non-traditional our relationships are. And there's still this idea, at least from my vantage point, especially with the men, that there's still this idea of somebody is paying, somebody is the provider. Somehow somebody that I am partnering with is financially improving my life.
True. But here's the thing. If we're both women, the wage gap is what it is. That's number one. So we both making what, 60 cents on the dollar? Who are me to judge? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like if you are somebody who is more like masculine presenting, I'm using that just so that everybody can. But if you're more masculine presenting, the odds that like you're being discriminated against at work, and quite frankly, like they deal with a lot themselves, you know, like in how you can climb the corporate ladder or stuff like that. So there is absolutely heteronormativity, but I feel like there's an honesty about that because femme women who are partnering with more mask people are very clear on, I want my nigga to pay for everything. And I will cook and I will clean and I will do everything. And so the conversation is set, expectations are set. Not to say that it is somehow like better, please God, no, that is not what I'm trying to say. But I feel like the conversation is clear. The implications are clear. But like, this is my thing about like patriarchy. When people are looking at it as like roles that they have to play, that stuff has to be backbreaking to carry all of the expectations that you have for yourself, society has for you, and your partner has for you.
Okay. Does this mean that you have some sympathy for the men?
The answer should be no. But
in this dating pool now, who maybe this would be. Do I want to say this out loud?
I have no sympathy for them because they're trying to date queer women. Leave them alone.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, that the idea like this transactional hypergamy, sprinkle, whatever you want to call it, is popular as a response to patriarchy. And I don't know that the women who, I don't know that the women who are engaging with this understand it, but I'm about to jump like all the way down to the point about the diaspora and the audience. But I think maybe we do need to take a pause, define hypergamy, and then play the Amani clip that inspired this whole conversation.
Go crazy.
Yes. Okay, so do you want the definition? Let me play the clip, or
I'll give my definition and then you can play the clip.
I see a lot of online discourse about me right now because people don't like the fact that I'm talking about God now, but I used to be a bottle girl. But let me clear up the confusion. That's the whole premise of Christianity.
Hear it?
Clock it. That's the whole point of following the Lord. Your life should look different. The Lord takes you out of what you were doing before. He takes you out of your sin. He takes you out of loving your sin. He makes you a new creature, and now you're doing something new. That's called growth. That's what you should be doing. But I'm not surprised at the genuine confusion because so many people see these false examples of Christians who go to the club Saturday night, get drunk, go to church Sunday, and do it all over again the next week. They still love their sin. So many people see these false examples of people that never change their life to follow the Lord, but they have man of God, woman of God, God first in their Instagram bio, but you do not see a change in their lifestyle at all. So when people actually see someone changing their life to follow the Lord, they're confused. They're not used to it. But I'm also not surprised either because didn't they do the same thing to Paul when he was still Saul, murdering Christians? That man was on his way to go murder more Christians when the Lord stopped him in his tracks, blinded him for 3 days, said, "Why are you persecuting me?" Turned his life around. That man went from a murderer to a preacher. And the Jews were like, ain't this the same man who was murdering Christians? And we know that Paul wrote more than half the New Testament. So I'm not surprised that people are confused, but I'm just clearing up that confusion. If someone says that they follow the Lord and their life does not look different than it is before, you should question that. Don't question when you actually see the change. That's the whole point.
When you sent this to me, I was so surprised at the first thing of, I was like, oh wait, what's wrong with being a bottle girl? Like, why do you have to, like, you know, when people earlier this year went through a whole like denouncing phase, they were denouncing everything. I was like, why are we denouncing being a bottle girl? It's bottle service.
I don't think Amani's lore is even deeper than that. First of all, she was a bottle girl that kept getting fired. She did not leave.
So you wasn't even good at your job. You wasn't bringing joy to the people.
To the men.
You bad at your job, and now you trying to get back at the people who actually had what it took. And
Listen,
that's
that part
Then she
upsetting.
pivoted to Sprinkle and started her podcast. And
The podcast is
about-
full of expletives, by the way, because I listened
Yeah,
to some
she
of
does
it, and I was
curse
like,
a
"Oh, the
lot.
cursing for the Christians."
And she's very much about the disposal of people, about like just you don't like you're not worth it, you're of no value, don't mess with the like, don't care about these people at all. Like move them out.
I mean,
To
first
now
of
being
all,
Christian.
I do want to like. First of all, the theology here, really, really bad. Actually, Paul was like kind of sexless, and like we don't listen to him because like, girl, you was scared of the pussy. When they first get into Christianity, you know that is the most insufferable person you've ever met for those first 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
A person
zealot.
who's recently gotten saved. Oh, heavens to Betsy. They're reading every book. They want you to come to all the things. They dress different. They act different because who is in Christ is a new creature. Old things have passed away.
Oh, I don't even think this is Imani though. I don't think she's reading any book.
No, because she said in the next.
No,
the
I'm not.
next TikTok
She's
is
not
her
even a
saying
real
she's built in
zealot.
the church.
She's just a covert. She's on the Denisha Carter, Candace Owens pathway, but Candace ain't letting no other black woman in that space. So conservatism is not profitable right now.
Yeah.
So the
And
next best thing is Christianity.
And because